So we are back again with another video on the channel, looking fresh, and we are back. And today I want to quickly talk about why Arsenal can't sell. Now, this has been a recurring theme for the last few years, but I want to talk about specifically in this transfer window why Arsenal are struggling to sell players. Now, this has a big thing to do with the homegrown quota or the status. Now, what I'm going to try and do in this video is try and dumb it down as easily as possible so anyone can understand why we can't sell some of the players that we want to sell in this transfer window. So I'm going to start with the homegrown thing. Now, Arsenal need, so you can have 17 non-homegrown players. 17. Now, the arrival of Martin Odegaard means it is exactly 17. Now, Arsenal therefore need another 8 homegrown players. So, as I said, 8 homegrown players. Now, those 8 homegrown players that we have at the moment includes Hector Bellerin, Callum Chambers, Jonathan Dinzey, who's currently in the under 23 side, Rob Holding, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Reece Nelson, Eddie Nketiah, and now the 2 additions of Aaron Ramsdale and Ben White. Now, if the transfer window closed right now, Arsenal would need to leave out one player, likely Dinzey, but the rest of the squad would be fine. Realistically, you'd need a few of the players from the first list, the 17 non-homegrown players, to leave. Now, non-homegrown players that would leave would make room for either non-homegrown or homegrown players. So if Arsenal sold Torreira, they could include Dinzey. But they need 8 homegrown players. You need 8 homegrown players. So the problem now stands is that Arsenal have Hector Bellerin, Callum Chambers, Dinzey, Holding, Ainsley, Reece Nelson, Eddie, Ramsdale, and Ben White. The reason we have profiled players like Ramsdale and Ben White is because we need the 8 homegrown players. Now, we want to sell the likes of Hector Bellerin. We want to sell the likes of Reece Nelson, Ainsley Maitland-Niles. But the problem is we could be short of homegrown players within our squad, which will become a bit of a problem. Now, look, it is a bit of a problem, but this is a problem that has been going on for many years. We have struggled to sell players. That this is just something that has been recurring of the previous regime under Emery. This goes back all the way to Wenger. We have struggled to sell players. Now, we've sold Joe Willock for 25 million this year. The last big one I can remember, just on top of my head, is Alex Iwobi, who we sold for around 35 to 40 million pounds. Now, that was a brilliant piece of business because I don't think he was worth any more than 20, but we managed to scrape 30, 35, 40 out of him, which is brilliant business, by the way. But since then, we have struggled heavily to sell our players because what we do is we end up letting them go into their last years and end up going for nothing, like your Ramseys. Like, Ramsey could be worth around 30 million pounds in his, in the last 1 or 2 years at Arsenal. That's, he was still a good player. Alexis Sanchez, 60, 70 million pound footballer, left for nothing. We got Mkhitaryan for him, who eventually left for nothing. We terminated his deal. So we have struggled in previous times. You could go back to Robert Van Persie. Couldn't do it, we couldn't sell him. And we have continually failed to sell players for good values. Now, this has been another recurring theme. Arsenal were reluctant to sell Xhaka for less than 20 million pounds, because that's all Roma offered. The problem with Lucas Torreira at the moment, is he going to go? Is it going to be a loan? Because that's what we can seem to do. That's why William Saliba and Matteo Guendouzi are going on loans. Arsenal don't want to sell Guendouzi for very cheap, even though there's an option to buy for Marseille for around £9 million next summer. So that's £9 million. We could have sold Matteo Guendouzi last season for around 25 to 30, and now we're letting him go for only 9. That's very worrying business in my opinion, because someone like Matteo Guendouzi is, he's very highly rated under Unai Emery. Now, the reason we can't sell has a lot to do with the homegrown status, because apparently Arsenal do want to keep a hold of Bellerin because of that, because he has been at the club for so long. He is our longest serving player. But I think another reason why we can't sell players for some reason, especially look, our non-homegrown players, we can get rid of as many of them as we want. And looking at some of them that have been, looking at our non-homegrown status, it includes Sead Kolasinac, Alex Lacazette. It includes players like Runarsson, players like Cedric, players like Terrea, Willian, Xhaka, all players that we could sell and we could make room for other players that we could bring in that are non-homegrown. Now we have exactly 17, which means if we hypothetically don't sell anyone else, and then if we don't sell anyone else and we sign someone else, we have to keep out someone in the squad. We can't, register them. So we have to sell players and we have to start making room. Now this is one reason why we can't sell players at the moment. Another reason is big wages. Now this is again a big problem at Arsenal Football Club at the moment. We have players on big money. For example, Sead Kolasinac, we had agreed a feed with Lazio for around £11 million to sell Kolasinac, which, okay, good business, 11 million, but it fell through. Why? Because Kolasinac is on close to £120,000 a week. This is because we signed him for free. So he was on high wages, therefore Lazio weren't willing to pay them high wages for a left back, which, let's be real, ain't all that. Willian as well, signed him on a free deal. I think he's on close to 200 grand a week, and now we can't sell him because he's on so much money. And what will happen is he'll end up running his deal down, and we won't be able to find a buyer unless we terminate his deal. Another person on big wages. Another one is Alex Lacazette, again close to £200,000 a week. In this, who's gonna pay for someone that's 1 year left on his deal, which is Lacazette, his contract runs out next summer. Who is gonna end up paying 25 to 30 million pound plus his wages, plus any potential agent fees, signing on fees, when they can get him for nothing next season? This is the situation we have put ourselves in. Same thing with Aubameyang, big wages, what we gave him last year, nearly £400,000 a week, and now we can't get rid of him. This is the problem we have put ourselves into, and we can't seem to sell players like this. How Chelsea do it, they raise most of their funds through youth academy products anyway, which we are not doing. We usually just send them out on loan, and then they just end up fizzling out. Sort of what's happened to Reece Nelson. He did so well in Germany. If I was at Arsenal, I would have tried loaning back out to Germany, maybe to a better team like Dortmund, and then he could improve. And then if he's still, we don't want to keep him or he wants to go to a bigger club, bin him off to Dortmund for 30 to 40 million. And now suddenly he has 1 year left on his deal and he could go for nothing, or we could loan him to Palace and he could still go for nothing next summer. And this is the problem we have. We are struggling to sell because of, one, high wages, two, a messed up homegrown problem, which, look, is a problem to, the Premier League, but all clubs have to face this problem, and we are struggling because we have not addressed this problem or this issue or this thing in the last few years properly, which leads us to players like Hector Bellerin being offered new deals because we need them just to fill the homegrown status. This is one of the reasons I think why Man United signed Tom Heaton. This is another reason why Tottenham last summer signed Joe Hart to fill a homegrown status. And it happened with Rob Elliott when he signed for Chelsea or something, which was crazy. I think it's the same reason, fill homegrown status. But again, look, unless we sign any more English players, we will be struggling a bit. So I think what we can do realistically now is try and offload Kolasinac, try and offload maybe Willian, maybe Torreira, and then we can maybe try and bring in a Houssem Aouar. Because, right now, Hector Bellerin, we can't let him go, otherwise we won't have those 8 homegrown players within our squad, which is very unfortunate because we need to have them, and which is one of the reasons we can't afford to get rid of them. Another one is Callum Chambers. We might want to get rid of him, but again, he's part of that homegrown status, and we are struggling to get rid. One player that could have fitted it is Joe Willock, but we decided to sell him because, it makes sense. 25 million, we're getting very good money for him, whereas last season we'd get less. Good piece of business. But we need to start trying to organize our wages and our things better and I get it. It's the previous regime set us up for this. I'm not particularly blaming Edu for all of this, but he ain't doing a very good job of trying to at least just get rid of Sead Kolasinac for some reason. If it's to terminate his deal, should have done it 10 weeks ago. Why is it taking this long? That's one of the problems I have. And look, in the end, we're doing good piece of business now. We're signing young players, probably not on too much money, like your Lokongas, like your Tavareses, even Benoit, even Ramsdale, even Odegaard, very young players we're bringing in that will have resale value. And hopefully now we are trying to build to an aspect where we can sell our players for good fees and we can demand, and we are starting to renew contracts. So in that aspect, we are doing well. but the results on the pitches aren't improving and we're unable to sell players, which means we can't put even more money into transfers and even better transfers, which is probably one of the reasons why we couldn't do £70 million for James Maddison. Leicester wanted it, a lot of it up front, but we couldn't do it because we weren't selling enough players. And yeah, that's what I wanted to discuss for today. Quite a long one, but thank you guys so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. What do you guys think of this video? What do you guys think of our thoughts and Arsenal can't selling players? Leave it all in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys in the next one. Bye bye.